Walk into any store and you'll find covered with caffeinated drinks, Starbucks on every corner, Monster Energy in every fridge, Red Bull promising wings. Coffee shops where people line up like it's a religious ritual. Right now, over 80% of the world's population regularly consumes caffeine. Think about that. 8 out of every 10 people on Earth are using the same drug every single day. You probably have some coursing through your veins right now. Maybe that's why you're still awake, watching this when you should be sleeping. One scientist called our relationship with caffeine one of the longest and largest unsupervised drug experiments ever conducted on the human race. Yet we barely think about it. We joke about being coffee addicts, wear t-shirts that say, "Don't talk to me before my coffee," and nobody blinks an eye. This white powder, this bitter chemical, has conquered the entire world. But how did we get here? And what aren't they telling us? Caffeine is actually a natural pesticide. Plants evolved it as a weapon to protect themselves from insects and animals trying to eat them. It's nature's way of saying back off. You'll find it in coffee beans, tea leaves, and cacao beans. In its pure form, caffeine looks innocent enough. White powder, bitter taste, slightly soapy. But don't let appearances fool you. Just 1/16 of a teaspoon will wake you up nicely in the morning. A quarter teaspoon? Your heart will race, you'll sweat, and anxiety will kick in. A full tablespoon could actually kill you. Yet in moderate doses, caffeine isn't all bad. Studies show regular coffee drinkers have lower risks of certain cancers, heart disease, diabetes, Parkinson's disease, and even depression. A key word here is moderate. Here's the thing about caffeine that makes it different from other drugs. It's socially acceptable. Nobody judges you for drinking coffee. In fact, it's the opposite. Not drinking coffee? People look at you like you're weird. How do you function in the morning? They ask, genuinely confused. We've normalized something that is, by definition, a psychoactive drug. It changes your brain chemistry. It alters your mood. It affects your sleep. But because everyone does it, we've collectively decided it's fine. The story of how this happened, how caffeine went from government seizures to government approval, from controversial substance to morning necessity, is fascinating. It involves corporate power, questionable science, and the gradual acceptance of something that previous generations feared. Let's go back to medieval Europe. Picture this. People are drinking beer for breakfast. Not because they're alcoholics, but because the water is often contaminated and unsafe. Beer, with its low alcohol content and boiling process, is actually the healthier choice. The average British person drinks 3 liters of beer a day, children included. Now imagine you're living in this world of constant mild intoxication. Everyone's a bit sluggish, a bit foggy. Then suddenly, in the 16th century, traders bring back a mysterious black drink from the Middle East, coffee. The effect is immediate and obvious. Coffee drinkers are sharper, more alert, more productive. They get more work done. Suddenly there's a clear divide. Coffee drinkers are seen as industrious and intelligent, while beer drinkers are lazy and slow. By 1700, London alone has 3,000 coffee houses. These aren't just places to drink. You can't stop caffeine once it starts spreading. Atlanta, Georgia, 1886. A pharmacist named John Pemberton creates a new drink. He calls it Coca-Cola, and he markets it as medicine. Got a headache? Drink Coke. Feeling sad? Coke will fix it. Tired? Definitely drink Coke. The formula is simple but powerful. Cocaine and caffeine. 2 stimulants for the price of 1. And people love it. They feel energized, alert, happy. Sales explode. Of course, the cocaine had to go eventually. Public pressure, changing laws, growing concerns about addiction. By 1903, Coca-Cola removes cocaine from the recipe. But they keep the caffeine, lots of it. Early Coca-Cola has as much caffeine as modern energy drinks. This catches the attention of a man named Harvey Washington Wiley, He's the head of the Bureau of Chemistry, which will later become the FDA, and he's horrified. Children as young as 4 are drinking Coca-Cola. In his view, caffeine is as dangerous as opium. So Wiley declares war. He orders the FBI to seize that shipment of Coca-Cola syrup in Tennessee. He wants to prove, in court, that Coca-Cola is poisoning America. What follows is one of the most important trials in food history. The US government versus Coca-Cola. David versus Goliath, except Goliath has unlimited money and the best lawyers in the country. The trial will determine whether caffeine is a dangerous drug or a harmless ingredient, whether companies can keep caffeinating their products or have to stop. The future of the beverage industry hangs in the balance. The courtroom is packed. Wiley and his team call over 20 witnesses. Doctors testify about caffeine's effects. Scientists present their research. Regular Coke drinkers describe their experiences. The government's closing statement is confident. Caffeine is dangerous, possibly even poisonous. Coca-Cola has a problem. There's almost no scientific research on caffeine in humans. Nobody really knows what it does long term. So they do what large corporations do best. They create their own science. They hire a young psychologist, give him substantial funding, and tell him to study caffeine. Fast. In just a few weeks, he delivers exactly what they need. His conclusion? Caffeine is not only harmless, it actually enhances physical and mental performance. In court, Coca-Cola presents this research as proof. The jury is convinced. Coca-Cola wins. Now, there's eventually a settlement out of court. Coca-Cola agrees to reduce its caffeine content slightly. But the damage is done, or rather, the precedent is set. In the public mind, Coca-Cola won. Caffeine is safe. More than safe, it's beneficial. This trial opens the floodgates. If caffeine is a performance enhancer with no downsides, why wouldn't you put it in everything? The next century will see caffeine added to drinks, pills, gum, candy, even water. But here's what bothers people looking back at this trial. The research was paid for by Coca-Cola. The scientists knew who was funding him, knew what result they wanted. It's not exactly objective science. Yet it shaped policy for decades.